Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we're going to have a look at the handicap marks. I did make the tweet about this on Tuesday, but I haven't recorded the video until now, Friday evening. So let's get stuck into it. And the first horse I want to talk about actually runs tomorrow, so Thomas Gresham, and I have highlighted him as a selection for tomorrow on the back of what I believe he is. I think he's nicely handicapped, and I thought his effort last time out behind Orazio was very, very good form. Okay, he's gone up £2 for that, but I think the winner is going to go up much. I think he's going to be another £10 higher come to the end of the season. And Sir Thomas Gresham was highly rated when he was trained by Tim Pinfield. He got up to a mark of 101 and was running in a listed race at Newmarket. Things went wrong towards the end of 2019, and we didn't see him for nearly 3 years. He was actually off the track for 1,200 days. Now, as much racing, as much fitness and training you can do at home, you can't get race fitness. And he probably needed 2-3 runs to get race fit. And now he might be race fit. And with that in mind, unless there is an Orazio in this race, I'm hoping that Sir Thomas Gresham can win it tomorrow. Do I think there's an Orazio? Not really. Lee Prabord has good form, including being beaten by Orazio, but I don't think he's as well handicapped as Orazio was. I was really keen on Orazio last week, and to see Sir Thomas Gresham go so far with him, I thought it was a really good effort. If it doesn't work out here tomorrow at Newbury, this race, the JRA Trophy, Tokyo Trophy Handicap, at the beginning of June, could well be where we see him next, and I wouldn't want to give up on Sir Thomas Gresham because tomorrow might come too soon, but we will see. The second horse I want to talk about is Law of the Sea, who's gone up £1 to 91 after finishing 4th in the Chester Cup. I thought it was a really good effort in the Chester Cup, having his first run for Ian Williams after disappointing twice in Meydan. In Meydan or at Meydan? He disappointed twice. I think he would have won with a clear run, and he was so keen and still finished strongly that I think it's worth stepping up in trip, and that is my suggestion. I think they should go for the Ascot Stakes, and I think they could win that with Law of the Sea of 91. However, this tweet from Mr. Bishop: Law of the Sea tanked around Chester. Be interesting to see if he goes up in trip to Ascot or down in trip for the Northumberland Plate. Now, I'm pretty sure Mr. Bishop is quite well informed with the Ian Williams yard. Seems to know the Ian Williams horses and what's going on, not just about the horses, but also about the finances, about what's happening with Mr. Kukash. So the fact that he's mentioned the Northumberland Plate, I think that might be where we'll see him. I think this is a strong hint as to where he's going to go, rather than just a reply. I think there's a bit of not inside knowledge, well, maybe inside knowledge as to that suggestion there personally. So not that there's anything wrong with that. If, however, he does turn up in the Ascot Stakes, I think he can go very, very close. The next horse I want to talk about is Call My Bluff, who's dropped to £1 to 89. And I thought it was a good effort in the Chester Cup. He finished 3rd. In hindsight, he kicked on slightly too early, but he was right to kick on at that point because Emin looked like he'd kicked clear before faltering late on. Call My Bluff ended up getting to the front just slightly too soon before being run down by Metier and, oh dear, who was second? Zoffi. It was a really good effort. Okay, he's not won the Chester Cup. I'm sure they'll be back for this race. So the Watergate Cup for 51 grand is a good prize money. Interesting to see where he goes next, but I'm sure this will be now the plan for the rest of the season. He may not be one that is put in races that actually suit him. If he turns up to the Watergate Cup in September off 89, 90, 91, I'd be very keen on Call My Bluff for the Watergate Cup. The next horse I want to talk about is Admiral D, who I highlighted for the race at Newmarket. I was hoping the cheek pieces would work. They didn't. And I don't think the soft ground suited him either. And then he came out a week later wearing those cheek pieces again, back on soft ground. I don't think that's what he wants. I think he wants good to firm ground. When he gets that, he's now only rated 88. I think he's dropped £4 in his last 2 runs. For me, I liked him off 90 or 91. I like him off 88. He was running off 92, sorry. Was he running off 92? Let me just have a check. Yeah, he was running off 92 when I liked him. He's now down to 88. As soon as he gets back on that good ground, good to firm ground, I'll be very keen on Admiral D. I don't know where they're going to run with him. He doesn't have any entries at the moment, which is understandable because they've run twice in just 2 weeks. Another race back at Newmarket would be absolutely fine. Maybe the Air Gold Cup is the long-term plan. They were 7th, not beaten that far off 95. I mean, would he get in this year? Let's have a quick check. 95? No. Not off 88. He would need to win a race if he wants to get back in that Air Gold Cup. If he doesn't and he ends up in the Air Silver Cup, or surely he won't end up in the Bronze Cup, but if he ends up in something like that, I'd be very keen on him on good ground. Good to firm ground will be ideal. The next horse I want to talk about is Yukon Glen, who has dropped £2 to 99 for his effort in the Chester Cup. He finished 10th. He was never involved. I think this trip is too far, and I don't think that's the right race for him. The right races for him are later this season. The Summer Handicap, where he was 3rd behind Trawlerman, who went on to win the Ebor, and the Ebor, where he finished 7th this year. He finished 7th of 102, so he's already £3 lower, but that's right on the cusp of getting in the Ebor. Last year, I'm just having a check, would that have got in? 99 wouldn't have got in last year. 100 was the lowest handicap mark to get in. Alfred Boucher was 96 but carrying a £4 penalty. Trawlerman was 97 but carrying a £4 penalty. So with that in mind, he probably wants to go to this race, the Summer Handicap at Goodwood, and go there to try and win it. It's 50 grand for the win. Not, nothing wrong with that either. It's only 76 to win a Chester Cup, so it's not like it's a massive difference in prize money for what he was clearly trying in. 51 grand for a 10-year-old is certainly worth targeting, and if you do win that, you'll get that penalty to then get you probably into the Ebor, where I think even off an essential £1 higher mark than when he was 7th last year, he could certainly go close. He just needs a clear run, a strong pace, and he should be finishing really well again. So Yukon Glen, I personally would do that. I wouldn't run him again. He's 10. They don't need over racing as 10-year-olds. They don't need 3 or 4 more runs before trying to win a race at Goodwood and the Ebor. Those 2 runs he's had have got him down to a mark that he's nicely handicapped. Now target that race at the end of July, and then for the Ebor. The final horse I want to talk about is the Grand Vizier, who's down £2 to 95. And for me, this is the one from the video that if a horse is going to win a race, and I'm pretty confident I know what race he's going to run in, it's this one. And that race is the Ascot Stakes, the 2 mile 3, 210-yard handicap. Why? He ran in it in 2019 off a mark of 100 and actually won it. He's since been to Royal Ascot twice, in 2020 and 2021. In 2020, he finished 2nd, beaten a neck by Who Dares Wins. Who Dares Wins was actually £3 well in that day, rated 107 compared to the Grand Vizier of 104. So if the Grand Vizier turned back up in that race, for example, off 95 and met another horse rated 105 or 107 as Who Dares Wins, he'd be wrong at the handicap, which I think would be a bad decision. Last year, he finished 3rd behind Stratum and Calling the Wind. He was rated 105 that day. Now, obviously, that meant he couldn't get in the Ascot Stakes, so I understand why they're going for the Queen Alexandra. Like last year, Stratum rated 112, Calling the Wind rated 91. But again, Stratum 112. Imagine if you ran the Grand Vizier in that race again off just 95 and met a horse rated in 100, 105, 110 even. You'd be so badly handicapped compared. The Queen Alexandra Stakes also isn't worth as much prize money, so they might as well go for the Ascot Stakes. I think they would take all of the beating off his low handicap mark. And to be fair, that race at Chester, it was his first run for a whole year. He had been, the last time he had been seen was running in the Chester Cup 371 days before. They've got that run into him now. Surely he goes back to Ascot for the Ascot Stakes. And as I said, out of all of these in the video, this would be the one I'm most confident on, the Grand Vizier. So keep an eye out for him. Keep an eye out for when those Royal Ascot prizes come around. Let's hope people see the Chester form, you know, his recent form of 9-9-6 brought down 5th, 6th, 3rd, 10th, and not that form before, including his Royal Ascot form. So there's my thoughts. Hopefully we can kick off tomorrow, or end tomorrow at Newbury, kicking this video off in good style with a win for Sir Thomas Gresham. Thanks for listening, and I will be back probably on Monday or Tuesday with a review of York. There are some eye catchers that I've written down for future races, including, let me just get back to my page, the Royal Hunt Cup, the Ebor, the Derby, and a couple that definitely need to go back to York.